All right, Steelers Nation. The Steelers lose 2 straight. They lose to the Baltimore Ravens at the final scores you see there, 34-17. It was a blowout victory by score, but they did keep it within range for the majority of the game. It's just a lot of mistakes came up to bite them. A lot of mistakes came up late, and it allowed the Ravens to just close this game, man.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes continued to pile on for this Steelers team. It happened last week against Philly with the Najee fumble on the toss play, which sucked the energy out of the Steelers completely. And that one, they lost in blowout fashion, essentially, with the scoreboard. And you look at this game right here on the final scoreboard up top, 34-17. Essentially the same outcome just from a week ago.
Yeah, towards the end of this game, I mean, we'll get into the entire game in general.
We've got 2 words
With a 4.99, we gave them the game. I know the national media are lining up to kiss the Ravens' ass. If we meet in the playoffs healthy, we bend them over. Russ gave them this game. The defense didn't play good. Russ had 2 costly turnovers, which allowed the Ravens to get the edge. And once they got the edge, they never let it go. The Steelers were competitive. They kept it within range. Every time the Ravens would score, the Steelers would score back. They went blow for blow, score for score with the Ravens. The Steelers kept it within range. It's just those turnovers came back to kill us.
Levi, holy shit, dude.
Levi with a Benjamin.
$100 from Levi Wright, who is a Ravens fan.
Says GG Twins, remember, I did say we would get the dub back. Still don't know why the hate on us. Ravens is warranted. I hope this donation can lighten up y'all's mood and use this for some Christmas presents. I already done my Christmas shopping, but I appreciate you. Merry Christmas from me to y'all. By the way, where did you get that belt from? This?
Yeah, right in the middle of the background. Dan gave it to me last year when we blew out Cincinnati when Mason Rudolph came in as an early Christmas gift. So and I still appreciate that, brother.
Well, I was hoping to bring that down so we could be AFC North champions, but that's going to have to be postponed. Hopefully postponed.
Yeah, I mean, because of this loss, the Steelers they're still within possibly being AFC North champions. It's just, if they won today, if they beat the Ravens, they would already be AFC North champions. But because they lost, that is now delayed. That is up to the Steelers' hands right now to possibly reclaim that division.
Right. And here's the thing. Like, I think the Steelers are still first place in the division because they have the better conference record. But now the Steelers have to win out. They have to beat the Chiefs on a very, very short week, and they got to beat the Bengals. They have to win out in order to win the division and at least secure the 3rd or 4th seed. Otherwise, the Ravens have a great chance to take that back. They have a great chance of winning the number 1 spot in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Because with this victory, the Ravens not only clinched a playoff spot today, but they have a great chance of winning the AFC North.
Yeah, and the Steelers, man, they have to win the rest of the season. They have to basically win it all now if they want to obtain that division title.
And it's still possible. It's still very possible. We're seeing the mistakes the past 2 weeks and how all the injuries are just now piling up. I don't know, man. And on a short week, how many of those bodies are we going to get back? Pickens was out his 3rd straight game. It might be his 4th straight game come Christmas. I just don't see how Pickens comes back with how many days to go? 4 days to go. Same thing with Elliott. Is he going to be back with 4 days to go? JPJ went out with an injury. Is he going to be back with 4 days to go? What about Dante Jackson? What about Larry Ogunjobi? All these injuries coming up at the worst possible time.
Yep.
And these injuries definitely hurt the team. But even with those injuries, again, the Steelers still kept it within range. They were still competitive. I don't blame this loss on injuries at all. Would it make a difference? Would Elliott make a difference? Yes. Would Pickens make a difference? Absolutely. But they still kept it within range. They kept it competitive with the Ravens without them. Without them.
Yeah.
It's just Russ coughed up the ball twice. And it gave the Ravens everything they needed to get the edge and get the lead and get the momentum, and they never once let it go. They almost did. They almost did when Minka got that interception.
And, dude, that was a wild moment.
If you're not
They just keep coming, bro.
You guys are crazy.
We've got 2 words for you.
$4.99 from a scheme max standpoint. I can't even be mad. Steelers injuries made it easy for a defensive game plan. Expecting Russ to work with that is crazy. And he almost did. He almost did. Big plays from Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin had himself another great game. A deep shot from Russ to Calvin. Phenomenal play. It allowed us to be able to tie the game at that point because that drive would result in a Cordero Patterson touchdown on a wheel route. Unbelievable play by Cordero.
Big time play by Cordell. You know, the touchdowns that we actually had came from 3rd stringers. The 2 touchdowns that we had, the 2 touchdown passes Russell Wilson threw. The first one was Michael Pruitt, and the other one was Cordell Patterson.
And then throughout the game, we saw some plays from Ben Skoranek. We saw a play made by Van Jefferson. Jalen Warren was making plays all game. Jalen Warren was a stud today. So with the core group that he had, they were still able to do what they did on offense. It's just, it came down to Russ going down the field, running the football, trying to be Mike Vick, trying to be Lamar, trying to be Josh Allen, even trying to be Justin Fields in a sense. He was trying to go down the field. He ran for a first down. He got us in a goal-to-goal situation. Instead of sliding, he tried to evade the tackler, the Ravens defender, and he fumbled. The Ravens would recover at the 4-yard line.
Yeah, that was the first mistake that Russ let up. And the Ravens, they recovered at the 4-yard line. Then they proceeded to drive down the field 96 yards to answer off the turnover with a touchdown.
Yeah, 94-yard touchdown. Rashad Bateman in the corner of the end zone, touchdown. That gave the Ravens a 14-7 lead. Ever since then, the closest that the Steelers ever got to getting the lead back or even tying the game, I believe, was when they were tied 17-17 with that Cordell Patterson touchdown.
Right.
But ever since that, the Ravens never let up. The Ravens never gave up the lead. The Steelers got a tie, but they never let up the lead. The Steelers even had 2 fumbles in the first quarter, an Alex Highsmith strip sack and a fumble on special teams. They couldn't recover.
No.
Imagine if they recover at least one of those fumbles. Just more missed opportunities.
No.
But it all started with that Russ fumble. The Ravens had the edge ever since. The Steelers remained competitive. They kept themselves in the game. That Cordell Patterson tied the game. But after that, the Ravens, again, answered back immediately because Boz kicked the ball out of bounds off the kickoff, and Andrews was wide open in the end zone.
Yeah, off very, very bad communication from the secondary.
What was Casey doing on that play? Covering John Cena? There was nobody around.
There was no purple jersey. There was no Raven in the area where you see KZ looking in his direction. There was no Raven, but Mark Andrews was wide open.
He went the opposite direction, and Andrews is just sitting there in the middle of the end zone, wide open. No one, not a single white jersey around him.
No, none.
Nothing. Just bad. Just bad. The Ravens answered very quickly after that. And then the next drive, I believe the Steelers had a 4th and 6 situation. Right? 4th and 6. Instead of getting just 6 yards, 6. Okay?
Yeah, just get the first. Just get the first.
Instead of getting 6, they go for 30 with a deep ball to Calvin Austin. Incomplete.
Now, I will say, if you look back at the replay, Austin is going up the middle of the field. There's another super chat.
Elijah with a 5 says, all right, y'all, I'm out. This L sucks, but I want to wish y'all Merry Christmas, and I'll see y'all next stream. Appreciate you, Elijah.
Elijah, I appreciate it, man. Merry Christmas to you too, brother. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, shout out to Elijah.
But yeah, on that 4th and 6 play, if you look back at the replay with Calvin Austin up the middle, Russ should have thrown the ball a lot earlier to Austin. If he hit Austin in stride, Austin would have caught it. It would have been a first down, and the drive would have continued.
Yeah, depending on how Russ throws that ball, because Calvin Austin runs right past Roquan. And Russ has to throw with anticipation here. Once he hits that ball right over Roquan, right into Calvin, that safety can't make a play. Instead, he delays the throw. He went deep for some reason. Instead of just getting 6, it's incomplete. And at that point, we're thinking, that might be it. That might be it.
Yeah, because
the Ravens are up. What were they up at that point? 24-17?
Yeah, and listen, like immediately after that play, when the Ravens get the ball back, they give it to Henry, and he goes up 40 yards off the left sideline. And right there, I'm thinking, they get down at the 11-yard line. I'm thinking that's it, game's over. Henry got over 100 yards. He ran all over. It's his best game against the Steelers ever.
And keep in mind, this defense couldn't stop nothing.
Defense was poor.
They only got, 1 sack in this game. Not a ton of pressure most of the game. Watt was non-existent today. And not many turnovers forced.
No, but
they couldn't stop anybody.
They got 1 turnover. It was immediately after the play that Derrick Henry got that big run off the left sideline. Immediately after the play, Lamar goes to throw. He's picked off by Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yes. Minkah Fitzpatrick gets his first pick in 2 years, keeping the hope alive. It didn't take 2 plays until Russell Wilson threw the ball right back to the Ravens. Marlon Humphrey picks it off. Pick 6. Game over.
And just like that, off 2 turnovers by Russell Wilson. The fumble earlier where the Ravens capitalized 96 yards to answer back with a touchdown.
And the pick 6.
You take those 2 turnovers away. You take those mistakes away from Russell Wilson. Despite the defense playing poor communication, I get they had some starters out, but the defense was still playing competitive to a degree. They were at least keeping the Steelers within the game.
Well, here's the thing. The defense didn't have a good game, but they gave them a shot.
They gave them enough.
Minka gave them a shot, and then Russ gave the Ravens 2 scores. Take those away, what's the result here?
A much closer game, a more typical Steelers-Ravens game that we've seen the past number of years.
That's why I put this game on Russ. The entire team didn't play particularly well. The coaching wasn't particularly well, but Russ really, you got to win the turnover battle in these games, in this rivalry. And Russ cost it. Russ cost us the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
2 turnovers. Ravens answered back with 14 points.
And then they were down 2 scores, and they had like 9.5 minutes left. And just like last week, where there's a costly turnover, it puts the Steelers in a 2-score deficit. They got 9.5, 10 minutes left in the game. It's 4th down. They're down 2 scores. Instead of going for it, Tomlin punts it again for a 2nd straight week. Gave up. It's almost deja vu. The ending of this game was almost copy and paste to the Eagles last week. They give up the ball. The Eagles capitalize. They're down 2 scores. They got time to come back, and Tomlin just punts it away.
No, don't even care to try. Don't even care to try to go for it. I know it was a 4th and 12 and whatnot, but you're down 2 scores. This is for the division title. You already clinched the playoffs. You got nothing to lose. You're in the postseason. You got the division on the line.
They got home field advantage to lose. They got a certain seeding spot to lose.
You're not even going to try to go for it against the division rival. You're going to elect the punt and essentially give the Ravens the ball, to which they drained the majority of the 4th quarter away.
Yeah, again, copy and paste to last week. But even before all that, again, the Steelers kept it within range, bro. They kept themselves in the game. They made it close. They kept it competitive. Without those turnovers, Lord knows what the result is. Russ played bad today. On his worst day, he cost us the most important game of the season. Yes, the Steelers are in the playoffs. They clinched a playoff spot. We will see them next year, next month, January football. But we needed the AFC North title. And it's not out of grabs, but it makes it a hell of a lot harder to get it now.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot harder to get it now.
And the Steelers put themselves in this bed. They dug this hole right now. This is the predicament. This is the hand that they now have dealt themselves with. It could have been a lot easier if they just got in there, played a better game. They protected the ball better. The defense was more on point.
But instead, they did the reverse of all of that, and now we are on a short week, coming off 2 bad losses, as hurt as we've seen the Steelers all season, facing a juggernaut in Kansas City.
Instead of going down the easy path, they're looking toward the long road now.
Yeah. So Russ didn't help us at all. 2 costly turnovers. Gave the Ravens the edge and everything they needed to win this game and clinch a playoff spot for the Ravens. Now, we're hurt. We're even more hurt now because JPJ left this game with an injury. What's his status going to be? Is Dante going to be back? Is Pickens going to be back? Is Elliott going to be back? Is Ogunjobi going to be back?
It's on a short week, man.
This sucks.
We got 4 days to our next game, Christmas Day.
This sucks.
Against Kansas City. I'll tell you what, after 2 losses in the fashion that we lost to against the Eagles and the Ravens, 2 good teams, by the way, now we got to prepare on a short week with injuries against Kansas City. I'm not feeling too confident, if I'm going to be real with you right now.
I'm going into the Eagles, yeah. I'm going into the Chiefs game not expecting much. I'm not expecting anything crazy. And you know what? Most times when I do that, the Steelers surprise me. And does next week have a Steelers victory written all over it just based on how they typically win games like that? Where you count them out. They have 2 bad losses like this versus the Eagles and the Ravens, and then they surprise you the week after. Does it have that written all over it? Yes, in a sense.
Probably.
But against Kansas City,
Pat Mahomes
on
at that.
a short week,
Andy Reid at that.
I don't know. I'm not expecting much. If they have certain playmakers back, if they have Pickens, if they have Elliott, there's a chance. We'll see.
At that point, that's a big if, but
yeah, the defense played bad today. Here's the thing. Yeah, they had backups. They had Casey, a backup starting. They had Trice and Pierre as your outside corners for the majority of this game.
yeah.
So yes, they had backups. They had essentially practice squad guys as your starters on defense. But even with our starters in previous weeks, they still were letting up plays. So the defense didn't particularly help us, but they gave us a chance when we needed them. It's just the offense and Russ specifically.
Russ shot himself in the foot. Twice.
Cost us. It sucks. It really, really sucks because this game was winnable. I 100% believe I'm going to go to bed tonight thinking to myself, this game was so winnable. The Steelers had a chance. The Steelers could have won this.
If they just look to seek to clean up the mental mistakes, the small errors
Right.
that are just now big problems, right now. It has cost them 2 games, 2 straight times.
But here's the thing. Some of these mistakes, especially from Russ, they are very correctable.
they are.
They can be corrected. And if there's a time for them to make mistakes like this, I hate to see it in general, but
if anything.
if
anything.
if there's a time for them to correct it, it's now. And they have to.
Just get out of your system.
Because the AFC North is now up for grabs. The Ravens have all the opportunity to get it. The Steelers can't let it go. They got to win out now. They got the Chiefs on a short week, then they got the Bengals. The Ravens are now in the rear view. I'm going to ponder on it for a few hours, but I can't ponder on it too much because we got to move on and we got to get ready for Kansas City.
Yeah, very short week again.
But the Steelers still have a chance. They have a chance to win the division. But they got to be better. And hopefully they get healthier.
Yeah.
Russ has to be better. The defense has to be better. And once they get healthier, perhaps we can see what we really believe the Steelers team can do rather than just another collapse or another first round
Yeah, and
exit.
listen, I'm hoping that's not the case. I am really praying to the Lord above.
Seen that
is
too
not
many
the
times.
case. Way too many times. Especially the past 2 games.
If you're not
Drew.
down with that, we've got
Shout out to
2
Drew,
words
man.
for you.
Shout out to Drew, bro. $4.99. Don't let all the tricks out the bag early. You're not wrong, Drew.
Yeah, Drew. Shout out to Drew.
You're not wrong, man. We'll see what the Steelers do in the next couple weeks, how they prepare for the Chiefs. But we got the Chiefs going forward now.
They just can't let these mistakes and these losses affect the rest of the season, including the playoffs. They can't let this get to them internally. They have to get in the right mindset, the right mind space. They have to get back into the film room, get back on the practice field, and they just got to work on the errors.
Yeah.
Whatever errors that they just has cost them now, get out of your system and fix it, because last thing I want to see is another team collapse, another, one and done in the postseason.
Same movie, different cast,
I do not
right?
want to see that. If that is the outcome with the different type of team that we have, the different mindset that I thought that I still believe that this team has, this team definitely does have a different mindset, a different mentality, different resiliency compared to previous years. But if it still leads to the same outcome as previous years, if you know what I mean,
Right.
then that is just the biggest heartache of them all. I don't want that to be the case. I really don't.
No, because I know this team's better than that, especially when they're healthy. If they get Elliott back, their defense, their run defense specifically, would be better. They get Pickens back, they got that field stretcher. Russ has that extra confidence at quarterback. But that's for the next coming weeks. I still want to believe in this team. I do. But they got to get healthier, and they got to clean up these mistakes, man.
I'm not going to lie. My confidence in this team is slowly declining.
It's dwindling a little bit, but I'm going to hold out hope. I'm going to hold out faith for this team because once they get healthier, I think they can do what they got to do. I think some of these mistakes are very easy to correct. I think they can be cleaned up. But the Steelers don't have a lot of time to do it at the same time, especially when you look at this Chiefs game. Very important. They got to win it somehow, bro.
There's a huge game coming up.
They don't have a lot of time, but they got to see. The Steelers don't typically play with a lot of urgency, but they got to go into this game with a sense of urgency.
Yes.
We'll see what happens, man. Steelers lose, unfortunately, to the Ravens, 34-17.
And that's actually the first time in 4 games in Baltimore that the Ravens have won in their home against the Steelers.
Yeah.
So they finally break the streak.
They do. So defense didn't play particularly well. Russ cost us with 2 turnovers. They kept it within range. It's just once the Ravens got that edge, they never let it go. They had everything that they needed.
Oh, dude, they never look behind.
No.
They
Not
never
at all.
look behind.
Not at all. Let's see how the Steelers clean up. Let's move past this. Let's get ready for Kansas City, and hopefully we can pull off a miracle and a massive upset at home on Christmas Day. A legitimate Christmas miracle. A miracle on 34th Street. Or a miracle on Art Rooney Drive.
Yes, sir.
Seriously. So, we'll see what happens, man. Ravens, you win. Congratulations. Maybe we see you guys in the playoffs. Maybe not. Time will tell. And time will tell for the Steelers team. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How you guys feel about this team? How you guys feel about this loss? What do you think needs to be cleaned up? How you guys feeling about this team? How you guys feeling about the Chiefs game? Let us all know about that in the comments below. Appreciate you guys for watching. At the end of the day, here we go, Steelers. We ain't got a lot of time, but let's get ready for Kansas City. Here we go.
As always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace.